a region that is home to 227,900 African elephants, accounting for more than half of the entire savanna elephant population across the African continent. More than 1,500 African wild dogs live here, estimated to represent around 25% of the global population of this species. The number of lions under strict conservation measures ranges from approximately 4,000 to 5,000 individuals, making up nearly 20% of the world's lion population. Kavango-Zambezi Transfrontier Conservation Area. This is the largest transboundary conservation area in the world, connecting more than 35 individual protected zones. The collaboration of 5 countries forms vital wildlife corridors, the backbone of the fenceless conservation model across borders. Before we dive into this extraordinary conservation area, let us know where you're following us from in the comments below. And now, let's explore Into the Wild KAZA. 5 countries, 1 battlefield for survival. In the heart of the Kavango-Zambezi region, during an unusually prolonged dry season, dust clings to every low-hanging tree branch. A black rhinoceros moves carefully across the fading tracks of an African buffalo herd. Both are in search of the simplest thing needed to survive: water. Not far away, a weary pack of African wild dogs makes its way across scorched grasslands, a place that just a few years ago was still a lush green migration corridor. Every movement has slowed, worn down by exhaustion. Climate change is reshaping the natural rhythm of KAZA. Rainfall has dropped by 15 to 20% over the past decade. The average temperature has risen by 1.5 degrees Celsius, disrupting breeding cycles, migration patterns, and food sources. The KAZA ecosystem is under immense strain. Species that have endured through millions of years of evolution are now being pushed back by a powerful new threat: human-driven climate change. And yet, amid this wave of change, KAZA remains a final stronghold, a place that safeguards biodiversity by allowing nature to breathe, move, and heal. Kavango-Zambezi, or KAZA for short, is a transboundary conservation area that spans 5 countries: Angola, Botswana, Namibia, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. Situated between 2 major river basins, the Kavango and the Zambezi, this region is often described as the ecological heart of the continent. What do you think is the greatest challenge when 5 countries come together to co-manage one vast landscape? Nature, culture, people, or politics? Millions of years ago, the slow movements of the Earth's crust, combined with sediment buildup from ancient rivers, gave rise to the region's rich geological foundation. The inland Okavango Delta, a natural wonder of the world, was formed when the Kavango River flowed into Botswana and was halted by a sunken landscape. With no path to the ocean, the river fans out across the lowlands, nourishing a unique wetland ecosystem that stays flooded for much of the year, reaching its peak during the dry season from June to August. It's this very paradox, floodwaters arriving in the dry season, that creates such a rare and thriving burst of life across the land. In KAZA, the climate is predominantly tropical, with two distinct seasons: the rainy season from November to April, and the dry season from May to October. Annual rainfall averages range from 500 millimeters in semi-arid areas to over 1,000 millimeters in wetter regions such as northeastern Namibia and the areas surrounding the Zambezi River. That variation plays a vital role in nurturing layered life systems, allowing KAZA to retain the vibrant richness of one of the most biologically diverse regions on Earth. According to the latest statistics from 2024, this area is home to more than 197 mammal species, over 600 recorded bird species, 128 reptile species, 50 amphibian species, and more than 3,000 plant species, around 100 of which are found nowhere else in the world. Within KAZA's vast and biologically rich landscape, source ecosystems are considered the first and most crucial links in the chain. They serve as the lifeblood that sustains the entire transboundary ecosystem. What defines source ecosystems is their abundant supply of water, food, and shelter for a wide range of wildlife. Thanks to the presence of water, either year-round or seasonally, these areas support rich biomass, including grasses, fish, birds, and a variety of aquatic species that form the backbone of a stable food chain. Among them, the two most iconic examples are the Okavango Delta in Botswana and the Zambezi swamps in Zambia. Water from the Angolan highlands flows southward, then comes to a sudden halt in the heart of Botswana, where the sunken terrain captures the entire flow, forming the Okavango Delta, the largest inland delta in the world. With no outlet to the sea, these waters spread out like a lifeline through the Kalahari Desert, creating one of the most unique and vibrant wetland ecosystems in all of Africa. Each year, during the dry season from June to August, waters from far upstream finally reach the delta. At a time when most of southern Africa is parched, the Okavango enters its peak flooding season, a paradox of nature, yet the very key to the abundance of life found here. More than 1,300 plant species, over 480 bird species, and 122 mammal species all coexist within this delta. Like a green heart beating in the middle of the desert, the Okavango Delta pulses with energy, nutrients, and life, spreading them far and wide, as if the hand of God touched down in the arid land and breathed into it the spirit of life. As waters from the Angolan highlands flow into the Okavango Delta, they awaken a remarkable creature, the hippopotamus. Despite their massive size, weighing up to 1,500 kilograms, hippopotamuses are surprisingly agile in the water. Rather than gliding like fish, they move by walking or running along the riverbed, using their short legs and barrel-shaped bodies, seemingly crafted for life in an aquatic world. Beneath the still surface, they can hold their breath for up to 5 minutes, even sleep without waking as they instinctively rise to breathe. And surprisingly, their closest relatives aren't land animals at all, but whales and dolphins. A living testament to an evolutionary path that diverged from a common ancestor tens of millions of years ago. The name hippopotamus comes from ancient Greek, meaning river horse. A poetic image that also rings true in the way this animal dominates waterways. In the Okavango Delta, where floodwaters arrive between June and August and saturate the lowlands, hippopotamuses live in small groups, spending nearly the entire day submerged to keep their body temperature steady, only emerging at night to graze. Each individual can consume around 40 kilograms of vegetation per night, mostly soft grasses growing along the banks. They possess an impressive defense system, tusks that can grow up to 50 centimeters long, powerful enough to crush a wooden canoe or even a crocodile's jaw if they feel threatened. Although they feed exclusively on plants, hippopotamuses are considered among the most formidable animals in Africa due to their strong territorial instincts and intense reactions when provoked. On land, they can run at speeds of up to 30 kilometers per hour, fast enough to outpace an adult human with ease. Another remarkable feature is their ability to secrete a reddish-orange mucus, once mistaken for blood sweat. In reality, this is a natural biochemical blend that acts like sunscreen, keeping their skin hydrated while also repelling insects. Thanks to this built-in protection, they can withstand the intense sunlight of semi-arid regions like Botswana, where daytime temperatures during the dry season often rise above 35 degrees Celsius. In the Okavango Delta, every step a hippopotamus takes carves out underwater trails that help keep water flowing, preventing blockages caused by the overgrowth of aquatic plants. These channels also provide important pathways and habitats for fish, aquatic insects, and dozens of waterbird species. Additionally, the waste they release into the water plays a key role in redistributing nutrients, a quiet yet essential cycle that sustains the health of KAZA's entire wetland ecosystem. Amid the water-soaked rhythms of the Okavango Delta, Africa's largest hornbill makes a quiet yet striking appearance, the southern ground hornbill. Instead of soaring through the skies like many of its feathered neighbors, it chooses to walk slowly across the ground, leaving dark, smudged footprints on the soggy earth as it moves with deliberate grace. The southern ground hornbill leaves a lasting impression with its size, standing up to 130 centimeters tall and boasting a wingspan of over 1.8 meters. Its plumage is a sleek, velvety black with piercing yellow eyes and a vivid red throat pouch that looks like a bold brushstroke against the savanna backdrop. Males display a fully red pouch, while females are marked by a splash of bluish-purple at the throat, a natural marker that makes it possible to tell them apart even from a distance. They live in small family groups, usually made up of a dominant breeding pair and several other individuals who help raise the young. Such a group may claim a territory as large as 100 square kilometers, a surprisingly vast range for a bird that hunts primarily on foot. Southern ground hornbills are carnivorous, specializing in hunting large insects, small reptiles, amphibians, and even young rodents. Their long, powerful bill serves as their main tool, doubling as a weapon and a versatile instrument for stabbing, flipping, and cutting into prey. They don't hunt alone. As they move, the entire group spreads out in a neat line, walking side by side across the grassland like a sweeping black wave in search of prey. And when an intruder enters their territory, they let out deep, booming calls, sounds so resonant they're sometimes mistaken for a lion's roar. It's a voice that carries far across the savannah, a powerful declaration of ownership. Even so, the journey of survival for this bird is far from easy. With a slow reproductive cycle, the southern ground hornbill lays eggs only once every 2 years, and typically only one of the 2 chicks survives to adulthood. Thanks to its intact savanna systems and protected areas linked by wildlife corridors, KAZA is considered one of the last remaining strongholds for this species in the wild. In stark contrast to the quiet stride of the southern ground hornbill on land, from the towering treetops rising above the water, the piercing call of the African fish eagle shatters the stillness of the African sky. In many African cultures, it stands as a symbol of power, freedom, and connection to the spiritual world. Zambia, Zimbabwe, and South Sudan have all chosen this bird as their national emblem, honoring its spirit of resilience and unwavering strength in the face of challenge. This bird mates for life. Once paired, they build their nest near water's edge, where fish are always close at hand. Their nests can span up to 2 meters across and reach 1.2 meters deep, often reused for many years and gradually expanded over time, much like a traditional ancestral home passed down through generations. The breeding season usually begins when water levels drop during the dry months, from June to October, a time when fish are concentrated in shrinking pools and easier to catch. The African fish eagle's hunting technique is a refined blend of sharp-eyed precision and lightning-fast strikes. It often perches silently on a high branch near the water's edge, its piercing gaze locked onto every glimmer and flicker beneath the surface. When it spots its prey, usually a fish weighing between 100 grams and 1.5 kilograms, it dives with talons spread wide, piercing the water's surface in a split second. Each foot is equipped with tiny horn-like spines that grip the slippery fish with ease. More than once, it shows a flair for convenience by snatching food from other birds like the great cormorant or the Goliath heron, a behavior well known in the world of raptors. This species does not migrate long distances. Instead, it follows the flow of water, shifting its home range within dozens to several hundred kilometers to adapt to changing hydrological conditions. In the Okavango Delta, where flooding occurs year-round and peaks during the dry season, the African fish eagle population remains stable and thriving. According to the latest 2024 data from BirdLife International, the estimated number of mature individuals is around 300,000 across sub-Saharan Africa, with the KAZA region holding the highest population density thanks to its relatively well-protected wetland ecosystems. Each year, as floodwaters from the Zambezi River begin to rise, they surge into western Zambia and create the Barotse floodplain, one of the largest seasonal wetlands in southern Africa. At peak flood, the inundated area can exceed 10,000 square kilometers, transforming the plain into a vast, shimmering sheet of water. This is one of KAZA's most iconic source ecosystems, where water orchestrates life, driving a dynamic and seasonally renewed biological chain. From December to June, when water levels reach their peak, the Barotse floodplain becomes a prime breeding ground for fish and aquatic life. As the waters recede, nutrient-rich silt left behind on the dry grasslands creates perfect conditions for tens of thousands of grazing animals to return. The bird life here is also remarkably diverse, with over 300 species recorded, making birdwatching an ideal activity. More than 30,000 blue wildebeest migrate through the area, forming the second-largest antelope migration in all of Africa. The Barotse floodplain embodies the ideal characteristics of a source ecosystem. A seasonally flooded lowland, it transforms into a green feast for grazing animals. Grass grows thick and tender, while the mineral-rich silt left behind in the soil provides exceptional nutritional value. These biological conditions draw herds of blue wildebeest back year after year to breed and raise their young. An adult blue wildebeest can weigh up to 270 kilograms, stretch nearly 2.4 meters in length, and stand as tall as 1.4 meters at the shoulder, cloaked in a dark grey coat with a pale bluish sheen, like morning mist clinging to the plains. Both males and females bear outward curving horns, serving as vital tools of defense in the wild, where every day is a quiet battle between survival and surrender. Blue wildebeest primarily feed on short grasses. An average individual can consume between 4 to 6 kilograms of grass each day. But rather than depleting resources, their grazing behavior actually helps vegetation grow more evenly. By nibbling on tender grass shoots, they prevent certain plant species from overgrowing, while also allowing sunlight and water to reach the soil, creating ideal conditions for new grasses to regenerate. In this quiet way, the species helps sustain the vital cycle of life across the entire ecosystem. As river channels begin to overflow and the floodplain mirrors the sky over Zambia, herds of lechwe start moving toward higher ground, where fresh grasses are just beginning to sprout from the damp earth. There's no jostling, no thunderous stampede, but their migration is no less urgent. It's a quiet, purposeful journey that stretches the thread of life through the rising rhythm of the flood cycle. The survival instincts of the lechwe are deeply intertwined with the very environment they inhabit: muddy plains, shallow marshes, and waterlogged grasslands. Their bodies are perfectly adapted to this terrain. Standing about 1 meter tall and weighing between 70 to 120 kilograms, they possess a graceful yet sturdy build. Males carry long, curved horns reaching up to 92 centimeters, a symbol of both dominance and duty during the breeding season. The key to this species' survival lies in its unique hooves, long and splayed like tiny skis, that help distribute weight across soft, marshy ground. When wading through knee-deep water, the oily fur on their lower legs repels moisture, allowing them to move quickly when fleeing or navigating shifting terrain. For predators like lions or African wild dogs, flooded areas pose a real challenge. But for the silent eyes watching from beneath the water's surface, that's an entirely different story. The Nile crocodile lies hidden beneath mud and reeds, an ancient figure, still and watchful, yet brimming with silent menace. It is the largest reptile in Africa and one of the most formidable apex predators in the modern animal kingdom. Each time the waters recede, herds of antelope, zebra, and buffalo move into the floodplains in search of fresh grass. And that's when the Nile crocodile enters its most intense hunting season of the year. Measuring between 3.5 to 5 meters in length and weighing up to 750 kilograms, its body is like a biological tank, engineered for patience, stealth, and sudden bursts of power. Lying motionless just beneath the surface, with only its eyes and nostrils visible, it watches, tracking every approaching step of its prey. Its dark olive to grey-brown skin blends seamlessly into the muddy backdrop of the Barotse wetlands. When the distance narrows to just a few meters, it launches forward with astonishing force. Its bite, measured at over 3,447 newtons per square centimeter, is 8 times stronger than that of a great white shark, bringing any struggle to an abrupt and final end. For the Nile crocodile, ambushes like these are not a daily occurrence. After a large feast, a long, slow digestion process begins. Inside its stomach, where the acid is so potent it can dissolve bone, the prey is broken down almost entirely, leaving behind little trace of the hunt that came before. In the Barotse floodplain, every step toward the water's edge is a gamble. Within this seemingly gentle landscape, the line between life and loss is drawn by a single snap and the beat of a heart. Corridor ecosystems are the vital connections between breeding grounds, feeding areas, and shelter, acting as lifelines that carry energy, nutrients, and life across landscapes and through geographic boundaries. Within this network, the Caprivi Strip in northeastern Namibia serves as a central ecological crossroads, where 4 major rivers, Zambezi, Kwando, Linyanti, and Chobe, intersect. Kwando, with its wetter conditions, marshes, and waterways, allows water-dependent species to move across lowland areas. Meanwhile, the Kaudum-Ngamaland corridor stretches through drier terrain, linking the Kalahari forests to the Okavango Delta, creating seasonal pathways for species adapted to semi-arid environments. Across sun-scorched savanna fields and dry sub-Saharan woodlands, the majestic silhouette of the African bush elephant moves in quiet grace. Their image has become the centerpiece of the official logo for the KAZA Transfrontier Conservation Area, a powerful symbol capturing the very heart of Kavango-Zambezi, cross-border connection for the sake of life. With the ability to travel hundreds of kilometers each year through corridor ecosystems, African bush elephants rely on these ecological pathways to link their breeding grounds, feeding areas, and resting habitats. But that journey is no longer as easy as it once was. Weather patterns have grown increasingly unpredictable. Familiar water sources are no longer as abundant. Yet, guided by a deep-rooted memory passed down through generations, herds of African elephants still follow ancient trails, invisible paths that link ecosystems across the entire KAZA landscape. Standing up to 4 meters tall and weighing as much as 10 tons, the African bush elephant is the largest land-dwelling animal on Earth. Yet behind that towering frame lies an intricate nervous system, allowing them to communicate through infrasound, low-frequency vocalizations that can travel up to 5 kilometers through the ground. These sounds help them stay in touch with distant herds, warn of threats, or seek out potential mates. Their remarkable memory acts as a living map, guiding them through years of drought, wildfires, shifting rivers, and even conflict, helping them navigate a changing world with quiet resilience. The matriarchal social structure of this species plays a vital role in helping them adapt to environmental changes. Herds are typically made up of females and their young, led by the oldest female, an individual who holds the most memory of safe routes and seasonal water sources. As males reach maturity, they leave the herd to live alone or form small bachelor groups, sometimes traveling alongside female herds in search of mating opportunities. The survival of the African elephant stems not only from its perfectly adapted body, heat-dissipating ears, a skillful trunk, powerful tusks, but also from its flexibility in biological strategy. During the dry season, they dig for underground water with their tusks, break trees, and bring down branches, often unintentionally creating resources for other species. Their dung disperses seeds. Their movement cuts paths through dense forests. From an ecological perspective, they are the ecosystem architects of Africa's drylands, shaping the landscape for countless other forms of life. As of 2024, the KAZA region is home to approximately 227,000 African elephants, representing 50% of the species' remaining global population. However, their distribution is shifting noticeably. African elephants are becoming increasingly concentrated in strictly protected areas like Chobe National Park and Hwange National Park, while their numbers are declining in zones where legal hunting is allowed or along border areas facing high population pressure. Amid the dry forests and open grasslands that weave together Angola, Namibia, and Botswana, the Angolan giraffe stands tall, like a living backbone of the ecosystem. According to the Giraffe Conservation Foundation, over 10% of Africa's total giraffe population lives within the KAZA region, including 2 subspecies, the Angolan giraffe and the South African giraffe. Notably, recent reintroductions from Namibia into southern Angola have marked the return of the species after nearly 40 years of absence. Each Angolan giraffe carries a unique coat pattern, like a human fingerprint, allowing researchers to identify individuals in population studies. Standing up to 5.5 meters tall, with legs alone stretching over 1.8 meters, they are the tallest land animals on Earth. Living mainly in open woodlands, dry savannas, and the edges of wetlands, giraffes don't migrate in long linear routes like wildebeest. Instead, they move in small ecological loops, following the availability of food and water. During the dry season, when low-lying grasses become scarce, their ability to reach high tree canopies gives them a clear advantage. Interestingly, the relationship between giraffes and African bush elephants within corridor ecosystems goes beyond simply sharing space. It's a subtle, indirect form of mutual support. As elephants break large trees and snap branches to reach the canopy, they open up patches of sunlight in the forest, encouraging the growth of shrubs and young shoots in the mid-layer. That just happens to be the ideal feeding height for giraffes, especially during the post-rain season when acacia trees begin to regenerate. This relationship is a vivid example of ecological balance in action, a system where nature fine-tunes itself without the need for human intervention. Angolan giraffes breed year-round, though peak births typically occur toward the end of the rainy season. After a gestation period of about 15 months, the newborn calf enters the world with a dramatic drop, falling from a height of over 1.5 meters. It's a natural, necessary tumble that kick-starts the lungs and awakens the respiratory system. Unlike most hoofed animals, giraffes do not experience deep sleep. They rest in brief intervals, usually no more than 30 minutes a day, as extended sleep would make them an easy target for predators. Still, their sharp awareness and wide field of vision from towering heights allow them to detect danger from far away. Giraffes typically move at a leisurely pace, but when necessary they can sprint up to 60 kilometers per hour in short bursts. A kick from a giraffe's hind legs is one of the most powerful defensive moves in the herbivore world, strong enough to seriously injure a lion. In the arid stretches of the Kwando and Kaudum-Ngamiland corridors, the African wild dog still holds its ground. KAZA is estimated to support around 25% of the global population of African wild dogs. They live in packs ranging from 5 to 20 individuals, led by a dominant breeding pair, the alpha male and alpha female. Unlike many pack-structured species where males dominate dispersal, in wild dogs, it's the females who leave their birth pack upon reaching maturity, helping prevent inbreeding and promoting genetic diversity across populations. The hunting behavior of the African wild dog is considered one of the most efficient strategies in nature, with a success rate of up to 80%. Significantly higher than that of lions, which achieve only about 25 to 30%, according to data from the African Predator Research Initiative in 2024. They typically hunt in the early morning or late afternoon, when cooler temperatures and low light make prey easier to spot. Their primary targets are medium-sized antelope species such as impala, red lechwe, or young wildebeest. A distinctive anatomical feature of the African wild dog is that it has only 4 toes on each foot, unlike other canids which have 5, an adaptation that optimizes speed and endurance. Capable of reaching speeds up to 70 kilometers per hour, they hunt with remarkable coordination, forming a crescent-shaped formation to split prey herds, then focusing their efforts on a weaker or isolated individual. A single bite to a hind leg is often enough to bring the unlucky prey to a halt. And in just a few short seconds, the pack surrounds it, tearing it apart piece by piece, while skillfully avoiding collision with one another. There are no roars, no displays of triumph. African wild dogs eat quickly, quietly, and fairly. Every member of the pack, including pups and the injured, gets a share. It's more than just a hunt. It's the clearest expression of discipline, speed, and unity, the very traits that make the African wild dog the most successful predator on the African savanna. Amid the harsh terrain where sun-scorched savannas stretch endlessly and dry woodlands whisper in the hot winds of southern Kavango-Zambezi, this is where a large, intelligent creature asserts its place each day. The chacma baboon, the largest baboon species in Africa. The chacma baboon, with its dog-like face, elongated snout, deep-set eyes, and sharp canine teeth, reaching up to 5 centimeters, carries an intimidating look. Those teeth serve both as a defense mechanism and a display of dominance within the social hierarchy. Its body is covered in dark gray fur, while newborns stand out with jet-black coats and bright red faces. A striking contrast, yet one that makes them easily recognizable and instinctively protected by the entire troop. Widely distributed across southern Africa, from Namibia and Botswana to Mozambique and South Africa, the chacma baboon is a prime example of ecological adaptability. They inhabit a variety of landscapes: dry grasslands, open woodlands, rocky hillsides, and even desert edges, as long as there's a nearby source of fresh water. Within KAZA, they take full advantage of the connectivity offered by the Kwando and Kaudum-Gameland corridors, moving between different areas daily or seasonally, depending on shifts in food availability and temperature. The diet of this species reflects a highly adaptive instinct. They are omnivores, with a menu that includes fruits, seeds, tubers, insects, and even small animals like hatchlings or lizards. During the dry season, they dig into the soil for roots and bulbs, providing both energy and hydration. This behavior not only serves the individual, but also improves the soil, enhancing water absorption and encouraging surrounding vegetation growth. By eating and dispersing seeds, they also play a key role in forest regeneration, especially in the transitional zones between savanna and open woodland. In northeastern Namibia, the roar of the lion still echoes across the savanna and open woodlands. It is the voice of the world's second-largest big cat, a true symbol of Africa's untamed wilderness. The Caprivi Strip remains one of the last regions in southern Africa where lions continue to roam with relatively stable populations and a notably high density. An adult lion can weigh up to 250 kilograms and reach lengths of up to 2.5 meters, but what truly sets them apart among predators isn't their size, it's their unique social structure. Unlike their solitary relatives like the leopard, lions live in groups known as prides, usually consisting of 5 to 20 individuals. Within the pride, closely related females handle most of the hunting, while the males focus on protecting the territory and the cubs. A male lion's thick mane is not just a symbol of masculinity, it also acts as armor during fierce battles for dominance. The hunting strategy of lions in the Caprivi region is a blend of group ambush tactics and smart use of terrain. Lionesses typically fan out through tall grasses or dense thickets, lying in wait as herds of plains, zebra, blue wildebeest, or African buffalo pass by. When the moment is right, the group moves in from multiple directions, cutting off the herd and targeting the weakest individual. While their success rate is notably lower than that of the African wild dog, lions make up for it by taking down larger prey and efficiently sharing the reward through their strong, pride-based social structure. A lion's strictly carnivorous diet demands a large quantity of food. An adult male can consume up to 40 kilograms of meat in a single meal. Their tongues are covered in sharp, hook-like papillae, allowing them to scrape every last strand of meat from the bone. Although they can go several days without drinking, lions rely heavily on the moisture they extract from their prey. Each meal, therefore, serves not only as a source of energy, but also as a critical lifeline during the long, dry season. In the Caprivi landscape, lions rarely undertake long migrations, but tend to shift seasonally to stay close to herds of antelope, buffalo, or African elephants. In addition to their iconic roar, capable of traveling up to 8 kilometers, lions are the only members of the Felidae family known to roar in chorus, creating a territorial symphony when night falls. The entire pride joins in, from dominant males to young cubs, forming a communal signal that not only asserts ownership of their range, but also reinforces social bonds across a vast landscape. Yet strength and adaptability do not exempt lions from the risk of extinction. Despite being apex predators, they are being pushed to the brink by habitat loss, conflict with livestock farming, retaliatory killings, and illegal trade. The International Union for Conservation of Nature currently lists lions as vulnerable, and estimates suggest the species has lost over 40% of its wild population in just the past 3 decades. In Caprivi, where human and wildlife lives intertwine along every forest edge and riverbank, maintaining the ability to coexist has become a profound and ongoing challenge. Across the damp red earth of the Caprivi Strip, herds of plains zebra move slowly through sun-drenched grasslands. Beneath a fine layer of dust, stirred by the early dry season breeze, their iconic black and white stripes appear in patterns with no fixed rule. With every step, they journey deeper into the heart of the corridor ecosystems, where geographic boundaries are only temporary, and life is an unbroken thread of connection. The plains zebra is one of the most adaptable grazers in the sub-Saharan region, known for its ability to move fluidly between seasonal habitats. In the Caprivi Strip, they regularly travel between lowland riverbanks during the dry season and inland grasslands during the rainy season, using corridors like the Kwando Corridor and the Kaudum-Ngamiland Corridor to navigate these shifting landscapes. Although they sometimes migrate alongside blue wildebeest, zebras are not tightly bound to the same long-range migration cycles. They tend to be semi-nomadic, responding quickly to local changes in grass and water availability. Thanks to a non-selective digestive system, zebras can feed on a wide variety of grasses, even tougher stems and leaves during the dry season, allowing the herd to maintain energy even when food becomes scarce. In the Caprivi Strip, where the landscape remains relatively connected and less fragmented, plains zebras continue to play a vital role both ecologically and economically. They are among the most beloved species for visitors on cross-border safaris and contribute meaningfully to community-based ecotourism programs. an approach being implemented in buffer zones like the Caprivi conservancies. In the southwestern corner of Kavango-Zambezi, Hwange National Park is seen as a final stronghold for many large animal species. The meaningful presence of the black rhinoceros serves as a reminder of a long, resilient journey of survival, where every footprint pressed into the cracked earth is the result of tireless conservation efforts and resistance against disappearance. Despite the name black rhinoceros, this species actually has a dark gray coloration that blends seamlessly with the rugged earth tones of the dry season. Compared to the white rhinoceros, they are smaller in size, with adult males weighing around 1,350 kilograms and females averaging about 900 kilograms. Their upper lip is long and prehensile, a biological tool that allows them to browse on leaves, twigs, and bark from shrubs. This trait clearly distinguishes them as browsers, unlike typical grazers that feed on ground-level grasses. Hwange National Park, with its scattered woodlands and shrublands, offers an ideal habitat for this rhino species, so long as water is available and poachers are kept at bay. Under the searing September sun, the park's artificial mud wallows become rare gathering spots for wildlife populations. For the black rhinoceros, wallowing in mud not only helps regulate body temperature, but also forms a natural barrier against parasites. As drought stretches on and food grows scarce, they move between low-grass plains and the dry forests of northern Hwange in search of the last remaining shrubs. Just like the black rhinoceros, a guardian of vegetation structure, the roan antelope stands as a symbol of quiet resilience in the savanna. As the dry season sweeps in, water recedes and grasses fade, yet one of Africa's largest antelope species holds its ground, steadfast among sun-scorched grasslands and open woodlands. In Hwange National Park, this antelope species primarily inhabits shrub-dotted savannas where tall grasses and reliable water sources are present. Though they don't migrate long distances, they move widely within their home range to access food and water. Their diet mainly consists of grasses, but when necessary, they will also browse on leaves, a flexible feeding strategy that helps maintain their nutrition during times of scarcity. In the world of the roan antelope, reproduction isn't a race for numbers. It's a strategy rooted in deep investment in quality. Each female typically gives birth to a single calf after a gestation period of about 9 months, usually timed for the end of the rainy season, when lush vegetation ensures an abundant food supply for both mother and young. Right after giving birth, the mother doesn't immediately lead her calf back to the herd. Instead, she hides the newborn in dense thickets for the first few weeks of life. During this time, she returns multiple times a day to nurse and protect it, staying alert to any signs of danger. This is the most vulnerable stage, when the calf is still unable to run fast or defend itself, and predators need only the slightest opening to strike. In a moment when every movement seems swallowed by the darkness, a lean, muscular form silently weaves through the dry grass. It is the African leopard, stalking with precision, its glowing yellow eyes locked onto a lone young antelope not far away. Nearly invisible against the landscape, it is the embodiment of patience and lethal grace. A predator born to master the art of invisibility, an uncrowned king of the African night. The African leopard has the widest distribution of any big cat on the continent. From the dense rainforests of Central Africa to the dry savannas of southern Zimbabwe, they inhabit nearly every type of environment, as long as there is adequate cover and prey. At Hwange National Park, the largest national park in Zimbabwe with a seasonally dry ecosystem, leopards maintain a steady presence, though they are rarely seen. Population estimates suggest an average density ranging from 3.5 to 7 individuals per 100 square kilometers, depending on vegetation cover and prey availability. With exceptional night vision, leopards do most of their hunting under the cover of darkness. They often move along narrow animal-made trails, reading shifts in wind and sound to pinpoint their prey. Capable of short bursts of speed reaching up to 60 kilometers per hour and armed with remarkable strength, they can bring down prey sometimes twice their own body weight. They approach silently, launching the final strike from just a few meters away. A single leap, a bite to the neck, and it's over in an instant. After the kill, leopards often drag the carcass up into a tree using powerful jaws and sturdy forelimbs. Stashing prey in the branches isn't just a way to keep it from being stolen by lions or hyenas. It also allows the leopard to feed undisturbed over several days. A clan of spotted hyenas follows the trail of a freshly taken kill. Their signature laugh rings out, not in joy, but as a declaration of challenge. As the largest and most widespread member of the Hyenidae family, the spotted hyena boasts a remarkable biological design, a powerful jaw capable of delivering a bite force of up to 758.42 newtons per square centimeter, more than 40% stronger than that of the African leopard. They can pursue prey over distances of up to 5 kilometers, thanks in part to a heart that makes up about 1% of their body mass, double the average for large mammals. This gives them exceptional endurance for long chases across rough, sun-scorched terrain. Evolution has shaped this species not only in body structure, but also through a highly sophisticated social organization. They live in groups known as clans, which can number up to 80 individuals and are led by dominant females. This is one of the few mammal species where females hold social superiority, being not only larger, but also more assertive and more resilient than males. Males typically leave the clan upon reaching sexual maturity, while females remain and reinforce the clan's hierarchy across generations. Sound is the language of the spotted hyena, not chaos, but strategy. With more than 12 distinct vocalizations, from the long-range whoop that calls to clan members to the giggle used in moments of threat or excitement, every note serves a clear purpose. They don't laugh just to intimidate, they vocalize to coordinate, to stay connected, to survive. Beyond their ability to hunt, spotted hyenas are also masters of opportunistic scavenging. They can consume decomposing carcasses and thoroughly chew even teeth, horns, and bones, parts that few other species are capable of processing. Their highly acidic stomachs, potent digestive enzymes, and specially adapted gut bacteria allow them to turn these inedible remains into nourishment. This biological advantage makes them essential to the ecosystem, helping cleanse the environment and prevent the spread of disease. Amid the arid expanse of Makgadikgadi, The red hartebeest is more than just an antelope. It is a living symbol in African culture. With its sloping back and tireless stride, this species appears in the folklore, dances, and prayers of the San and Tswana peoples, embodying strength, endurance, and the ability to overcome adversity. In the Makgadikgadi salt pans, one of the largest and most unforgiving salt basins in the world, the red hartebeest not only survives but adapts in remarkable ways. While the 2024 KAZA report does not provide official population figures, recent ecological surveys have documented a stable presence of this species around the grassland edges of the salt pan, particularly in the southeastern areas of the reserve. Unlike many water-dependent grazers, the hartebeest can regulate its hydration needs, surviving for extended periods without direct access to surface water, as long as it can draw moisture from fresh grasses. Its habit of feeding on coarse, tall, and non-selective grasses allows it to thrive in habitats often overlooked by species like impala or springbok. This behavior helps reduce interspecies competition and plays a key role in setting the pace for post-fire vegetation recovery. Hartebeest graze first, stimulating the growth of new grass, which then paves the way for more selective grazers to follow. The hartebeest's ability to sense danger relies heavily on its keen sense of smell and hearing, as its vision is relatively weak. This makes them most active at dawn and dusk, times when predators like lions or wild dogs are less likely to launch direct attacks. When a threat is detected, the entire herd may respond in unison, moving against the wind while maintaining a tight formation that protects the young at the center. The red hartebeest is not only prey for apex predators, but also a key target in persistence hunting practices carried out by some indigenous communities. Although protected in core areas like Etosha and Naxai Pan, hartebeest populations in Makgadikgadi still face threats from reduced conservation enforcement and uncontrolled grass harvesting in buffer zones. Across the parched savanna of Njai Pan, a cheetah bursts from the low grass, an arrow of pure motion. No roar, only the deadly silence of unmatched speed. The cheetah is the only species in the genus Acinonyx, distinguished by unique anatomical features, including an exceptionally flexible spine, long legs, a deep chest, and notably, semi-retractable claws that enhance traction for explosive sprints. Under ideal conditions, an adult cheetah can reach speeds of up to 112 kilometers per hour, accelerating from 0 to 72 kilometers per hour in just 2.5 seconds, making it the fastest land animal on Earth. Their pale yellow coat, covered in evenly spaced black spots, allows cheetahs to blend effortlessly into the dry savanna. The distinctive tear marks, black lines running from the corners of the eyes to the mouth, reduce sun glare and enhance focus, helping them track prey with precision over long distances. Cheetahs rely primarily on vision to identify targets, typically medium-sized antelope such as impala or steenbok, which tend to roam alone during the dry season and gather near the few remaining water sources. An adult cheetah consumes an average of 2.5 to 4 kilograms of meat per day and must hunt frequently to maintain energy, as it carries very little body fat for storage. However, because its body is built for speed rather than strength, the cheetah typically avoids direct confrontations with larger predators like hyenas, often eating quickly to reduce the risk of having its kill stolen. According to the latest 2024 survey by the Cheetah Conservation Fund, the NXII Pan area and the fringes of Moremi currently support an estimated 23 to 27 adult individuals, forming a relatively stable population within KAZA's dry season migration corridor. This group serves as a crucial link between cheetah populations in the Okavango Delta and the Chobe region, helping to preserve genetic diversity and population stability amid the growing loss of open habitat corridors. As heavy clouds drift slowly across the northeastern Namibian sky, the ground trembles beneath the weight of a creature both revered and cautiously respected. It is the African buffalo, the spirit of the Caprivi conservancies and a symbol of untamed strength that has never bowed within the protected wilds of KAZA. Across the seasonally flooded plains, where sunlight pours down on knee-high grasses, herds of buffalo move in silence, like ghostly trains cutting through the wild. Each adult can weigh up to 870 kilograms and stand nearly 1.7 meters tall at the shoulder, with a muscular build and dense frame that give them the appearance of walking fortresses. Their crescent-shaped horns curve thick and wide, fused at the base into a solid bone shield called a boss, an unmistakable feature of one of Africa's most formidable grazing animals. In Caprivi, as of 2024, over 4,200 buffalo have been recorded across grasslands, floodplain forests, and river corridors within the boundaries of community-managed conservancies. Unlike strict protected areas, buffer zones like the Caprivi conservancies allow for controlled human presence, a balanced model in which the buffalo becomes a central figure, embodying the coexistence of people and wildlife. This species doesn't migrate over long distances like wildebeest, but it does shift seasonally following moisture, fresh grass growth, and reliable water sources. Because buffalo need to drink daily, they rarely venture more than a day's journey from rivers or long-standing wetlands. As the dry season tightens its grip, large herds gather around permanent water holes, forming groups of hundreds, sometimes over 1,000 individuals, turning the ground into a living lawnmower, flattening tall grasses and clearing paths for more selective grazers like impala or reedbuck to follow. One of the lesser-known but vital habits in the buffalo's survival strategy is mud wallowing. The layer of mud that coats their skin not only helps regulate body temperature, but also acts as a natural barrier against parasites and soothes minor wounds. A simple yet highly effective form of self-care in the wild, but when buffalo are on land, they often have a familiar companion, the yellow-billed oxpecker with its bright yellow bill and piercing red eyes clinging tightly to their backs. That flat, vivid beak serves as a specialized tool for harvesting food in the form of blood-sucking ticks, beetles, and skin-burrowing insects from the bodies of large mammals. Recent studies suggest that oxpeckers may not only feed on parasites, but also keep wounds open to consume blood. A fascinating relationship that blends mutualism and parasitism in a uniquely adapted form of coexistence. For the people of Caprivi, the buffalo is both ally and adversary. It brings significant tourism value, often the reason safari visitors return to community-run conservancies, but it can also damage crops and pose risks when crossing natural boundaries. This is why benefit-sharing programs rooted in community-based management have become a core strategy, where each buffalo represents not just wildlife, but a piece of the local economy and a source of collective pride. The lappet-faced vulture, the largest of Africa's vulture species, is a creature that lives off death. Its massive wingspan, reaching up to 2.9 meters, allows it to soar for hours without flapping, carried by rising thermals over the cracked, sun-scorched savanna, thanks to its finely tuned aerodynamics. With a body length ranging from 78 to 115 centimeters and a weight that can exceed 9 kilograms, it boasts a powerful frame built for a task few others can manage. accessing and breaking down the carcasses of large animals long after other scavengers have given up on the thick skin and dense muscle. When they arrive at a carcass, species like the white-backed vulture or hooded vulture often have to step aside, making way for the one bird powerful enough to tear through muscle that smaller beaks simply can't penetrate. Its thick, hooked and robust beak allows the lappet-faced vulture to rip deep into hide, tendons, and even cartilage, an unrefined task, but a crucial one in the ecosystem's recycling chain. Its bare pink head, marked by distinctive folds of loose skin known as lappets, not only helps regulate body temperature in the arid environment, but also protects the neck during fierce scuffles over carcasses. However, unlike many other scavenger birds, the lappet-faced vulture has a poorly developed sense of smell. It relies almost entirely on its exceptional vision to locate carcasses, a natural aerial surveillance system that allows it to spot a dead animal from several kilometers away, often by observing the movement of other vultures gathering below. Despite their crucial role in processing carcasses, populations of lappet-faced vultures are in steep decline across Africa. The main causes include poisoning from pesticides, toxic bait, habitat loss, and, most critically, the illegal hunting of vultures for body parts used in traditional belief practices. Not only the lappet-faced vulture, but between October 2023 and February 2024, 56 poached African elephant carcasses were discovered in northern Botswana. However, experts believe this number represents only a fraction of the actual toll, raising serious concerns that the region may be emerging as a new poaching hotspot. A recent technical assessment has also revealed a critical gap in monitoring efforts. Across the entire KAZA region, spanning over 500,000 square kilometers, only 7 sites are currently part of the Monitoring the Illegal Killing of Elephants program. Of those, 4 only began operations in 2018. The monitoring system remains severely limited and under-resourced, while the survival of the African elephant grows increasingly fragile. Although Hwange National Park still harbors a small number of black rhinoceroses, mostly concentrated in the Sinamatella area, their population has declined sharply due to poaching, from around 90 individuals in the 1990s to fewer than 10 today. Despite Zimbabwe's implementation of strict monitoring measures at Hwange, including armed patrols and tracking technology, the threat remains constant. As a result, rhino horns, made of keratin, continue to be hunted, fetching hundreds of thousands of US dollars on illegal markets. Still, the survival journey of the black rhinoceros in Hwange National Park is not yet over. Within the KAZA framework, cross-border conservation initiatives are gaining momentum, focusing on protecting migration corridors, relocating vulnerable individuals, and reintroducing them into more strictly protected areas. These are concrete, determined steps, strong enough to hold onto the lives of creatures that have walked alongside African elephants, lions, and antelope for millennia. In Zambia, considered a key transit point in the illegal trade of rhino horn, the organization WCP, working in collaboration with the Department of National Parks and Wildlife, has conducted enforcement operations based on 7 years of accumulated intelligence. These efforts have resulted in the arrest of 36 regional traffickers, 14 government officials, and 1 international figure directly linked to the black rhinoceros horn trade network. Though these numbers may not make headlines, they send a clear message. The system is beginning to fight back, effectively. KAZA reminds us that to protect nature, we must dismantle the walls that separate nations, communities, and ourselves from the wild. If you had the chance to visit KAZA, would you choose to glide through the Okavango in a Mokoro? watch birds at sunrise, or follow the footprints of a roaming elephant herd. And if you've ever sat in a makoro on the Okavango Delta or explored the daily life of local communities at Kazuma Camp, don't hesitate to share your knowledge and experiences in the comments below. Your stories can inspire and energize efforts to protect rare wildlife and preserve ecosystems for generations to come. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to join us on the next magical adventure. Or continue the journey into the wild with us in wild Namibia, the struggle for survival in the vast desert, or wild Kruger, survival in the wild heart of South Africa.